Hi, my name is Lauren Johnson. I am with the marketing team with Kunes Auto Group. And today, for our Kunes Car Convo, I will be interviewing Kevin Atwood, the founder of Foster's Voice. We will be driving this gorgeous 2024 Ford Mustang GT. So yeah, we are in a Mustang. What are you thinking about the car? What do you like about it so far?
It's really nice. I really like it. I just bought I should say, Jamie last June just bought me a 2022 F-150 from Kunes.
Nice, thank you.
Brand new.
Oh, nice.
And it's actually my dream truck. I love it. She asked me to meet her up there after work, and I came up and she had already purchased it and had it all picked out, all on herself. It's a wonderful present.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't ask for anything else, but it's beautiful. It's been amazing. It rides so nice. I've already got 16,000 miles on it, so I'm trying to get her to let me trade it in for one of those black ops back there. But
do it.
She said no.
What? Why is she being like that? So silly. I mean, I still think she's great, but come on.
Yeah, she said no. I'm good for a while, but it's been fabulous. I've absolutely loved it. It's such a great truck.
Awesome.
I'm looking inside this Mustang and I'm digging it. I'm digging the dash. It's just like one big screen, and
yes, very futuristic almost.
Yeah. And I can tell it's got some horsepower because of our driver. But
yes.
Yeah.
I do have a lead foot. I will be very honest. I don't think anyone that knows me that watches this will be surprised by that. They're like, yeah, she drives fast and have a little road rage, but that won't be happening today.
But that's okay. That's okay. Everything's going well. I like the sound of it. It sounds good. It drives well. It's really nice.
I know. I like it too. I love push to start too. I don't know why. It always feels fancy to me.
Yeah. Well, my first car, we had to put the key in the ignition. And you had the little thumb and finger where you turn the ignition. So I'm older than you though, so that goes back
just by a few years.
Yeah.
Are you from the Quad Cities originally?
I am. I was born and raised in Bettendorf. I went to Bettendorf High School. I graduated in 1988. I actually moved to Illinois when Jamie and I got married. So I lived in Iowa all my life.
You came to the dark side.
I came over to Illinois, and all of our kids graduated from United Township High School, and been here ever since. And this is where we'll be, I guess. Yeah. So.
And your daughter just got married.
Our daughter just got married September 16th, so it was almost like the perfect day. It was a beautiful ceremony, beautiful wedding rehearsal. Dinner was a great time, and reception was a blast.
Where was it at?
They got married atop the Sky Bar in Davenport, and then the reception was down at the University Club in Moline.
Yeah,
so,
they did a great job.
Yeah, they did. It was a lot of fun, and I hope it was everything that she had wanted or ever expected. Growing up and dreaming of your wedding. So
yes,
I hope it ended up being what she wanted.
I bet it was.
She says it was. So. If it wasn't, she wouldn't have told me. But I hope inside it was what she wanted, because that's all we've ever wanted, was for our children to be happy.
Yeah. How many other kids do you guys have?
We had 4 children. We have the 2 girls, which are the oldest, and then we had 2 boys, Foster being the middle, and then Ethan is our youngest. Okay. He's 23, so we had Tristan, Emma, Foster, and then Ethan. It's hard to believe the baby's 23.
Oh my gosh. What is he up to?
Trying to be 23 and single. But he's having a good time, and he's such a sweetheart. He's probably out of all of them, he's the most loving, I think. He's it's always I love you before he leaves, and
right.
Just kind of how he's always been. Just a baby. But he's figuring out what he wants to do. The other 2 are married, and Emma has has 3 children now, and
Oh, it's awesome.
yeah, so we're grandparents, and we're enjoying that side of life.
Yeah.
Not enjoying getting older, but we're enjoying that side of life.
Yeah.
We'll just we take life one day at a time, and
Yeah.
I think what people don't understand is that after Foster passed away, and unless you lose somebody in that type of manner, especially to suicide, it changes who you are. I'm not the same man that I was prior to Foster's death. It was my job, to raise my son and all of my children, but definitely our sons. It was my job to raise both our sons to be, better men than what I am. And I take that seriously, and I took it very seriously then. But with I've said it many times, in a weird act of fate, it was a son who made a father a better man, and that's truly what happened with Foster passing away. It was a real wake-up call, and it changed who I was. Foster made me more loving. He made me more compassionate. He made me more caring. He made me more giving. It made me a lot of things that I wasn't before he passed away. So I owe him, a debt of gratitude for the person and the man that I am now, because I wasn't always the man that I am now.
Right.
That happened because of his sacrifice, of his death. Because before that, I was busy. I was working, and in that
Right.
time, I was a lot more selfish. I was, a lot more concerned about other things,
Right.
than I am the priorities that I have today. And that's kind of what happens in these types of situations. You have an awakening, or at least I did, I should say. I hate to speak for anybody else, but there's no way you are the same person after anything like that, so it changes your outlook. And anytime you lose somebody that you're close to suicide, especially if it's a spouse or a child, you really have two choices, and neither choice is wrong. You can do everything in your power to put it past you and take a step forward and just try to live and get on with your life. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. You have every right to do what you have to do to continue, because it is the worst thing you will ever feel or experience in your life. And the other side of that is you fight it, and you fight back, and you do everything you can to take a terrible situation and try to change it for other people. And it sounds like I'm saying that one way is the heroic way and the other way isn't. And I'm not, because they're both very heroic ways.
Right.
Because you do anything that you can do to survive. There is healing, and there is a way of getting through grief in fighting back. Some people just can't do it. And it doesn't make them any less. It's just not their way of being able to get through it. Other people need to fight to get through it. There's just different ways of doing it. And we knew right away that we were going to have to fight, just because we couldn't sit on our hands and do nothing about it.
So you started the organization 9 days after your
We started the organization 9 days after Foster passed away. The concept really started the day that he passed away on the 21st of July in 2017. Your house fills up full of people really quick once the word gets out. And as fast as they're all there and everything's loud and people are talking, just as quickly they all leave and they go back to their life that night, and it gets real quiet. You're still stuck with it all. And that night, as I laid in bed and I listened to my wife's cries and tears and her sobs, there was nothing I could do. Nothing I could say, nothing was going to make it any better. Nothing could take it away. But I knew that Foster still had a future in this life here with us if we could be strong enough to give him that future. And that's where Foster's Voice, really, the concept of Foster's Voice and the name came that night. I knew that I wanted his voice to be heard, to be able to help others, because all of his friends were like our children as well, and we couldn't imagine anything else happening to them. And there's just so much pain that's wrapped up in suicide that nobody else deserves to go through that type of pain, and we don't want it to happen to anybody else. That's really what it's about. That's the whole thing. Is nobody should ever be in a position that my son was in, to where you feel like the only option is just to leave. And I understand very easily how people can get there, and I don't want them to, so we're going to help them. And parents, whether they're my age or younger or older, my parents in their 70s, they should never feel the pain of losing a child to suicide. So we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that, at the very minimum, our community is affected and knows that we're fighting. But we'll make sure that Foster's Voice is heard throughout the nation. And we're lucky enough that we have followers in every state throughout the country. We have contacts throughout the nation that we rely on. And I've talked to thousands of people with the same story as myself and Foster and our family. And, we rely on those stories to understand and to learn and to move forward. And it makes a difference. So eat your ice cream.
Yes. So, Kevin, I told you this earlier, but I just want to say again, when I was talking to employees and different friends about a nonprofit in the area that they really felt impacted the community, so many people said Foster's Voice. Foster's Voice is one to work with. So I know that the work that you do is important, but I want to let you know it's important to everyone in the community, and that people truly appreciate all of your guys' work.
Well, first of all, thank you. That, you don't know how much that means to me, just as a father, because we truly feel that Foster's Voice is what we have of our son here, here in this world. So I'm glad that people know of Foster's Voice. I'm glad that they respect the work that's being done, that Foster is doing in our community, and that it's recognized that it is work for the community, because that's so important to us. And that's something that we definitely set out to do from the very beginning, was that we wanted to take care of our people. We wanted to take care of the people that we see, that we run into daily, at the grocery store, at the gas station, at Kunes Ford where I bought my pickup truck. At Whitey's where we just got our ice cream.
Yeah.
It's the people that we run into daily that it's important to us that they recognize Foster's voice. So that's very important, and to hear it from you that that's what people are saying. It's just like when you were younger and you would hear, or when I was younger, I should say. You're pretty young already, but
Thank you.
I would hear, oh, your son, he's so polite. And I'm like, well, whose kid are you talking about? But when he was around other people, he was very polite. But at our house, not so much. But that's okay. We'll take that. Because around other people, he was a very polite and well-spoken and well-mannered kid. So it kind of represents kind of the same thing. So thank you. That really means a ton.
So for the people that are not familiar with Foster's Voice and your mission and the work that you do, can you best describe it to us?
Yeah, at Foster's Voice, our number one goal is always to break down that stigma. There's many other things that we do, and there's a lot of other ways that we can go about getting help and treatment and that sort of thing. But I think our number one goal has always been to break down the stigma, because until we break down the stigma and we make people realize that everybody that lives, everybody in the Quad Cities, Iowa, Illinois, everybody in the nation, everybody who lives has a mental health.
Yep.
It's either good mental health, stable mental health, or bad mental health. But once we make sure that everybody understands, everybody has mental health.
Mm-hmm. It's not something you can avoid.
No.
You have a brain. You need to take care of it.
That's exactly right. You're born with it. And it's okay that if, your mental health isn't doing very well, just like your physical health.
Yeah.
Yeah, so out of all the different things that we do, I still think that breaking down that stigma is the most important part, because even if we offer free help or free mental health care, or if we have all these different options or resources, if we don't break down the stigma and people don't feel comfortable saying my mental health isn't okay, or I'm just not feeling right now, or hey, I just need to fine-tune some things, or I need some advice, or I'm in a situation where I'm just not feeling comfortable, then all the other options that we have really don't matter, because we need people to accept the fact that everybody has mental health, and sometimes that mental health isn't always okay.
Right.
And we need to accept the fact that sometimes we just need a little help to feel better.
Yeah.
And after we can get them to break that stigma and understand that it's perfectly okay to not be okay, then we can use the rest of our resources and we can get them the help that they need, and then we're off and running.
Yeah. I love that. I love that a huge part of the organization is to break the stigma, like you said, of mental health being taboo to talk about, to experience, when we all have minds and they all need help. We need to take care of ourselves in every way, shape, or form. And yes, break the stigma. Thank you for working to do that.
That's it. We all have a brain, right? One of the most important organs that we have in our body, but yet we forget to use it.
Right.
Me especially.
Okay, so I've had the pleasure off camera of getting to hear about Foster, but I would love for you to describe Foster for people that haven't had the pleasure of meeting him.
Well, first of all, he would have loved this. He being in a really cool Mustang with a beautiful lady would have been right up his alley. He was just a great guy. I mean, he wasn't perfect, and I don't want to give anybody that false impression that Foster was some perfect individual, because he wasn't. He was human.
Right.
He made mistakes. He did stupid things, but he was surrounded by people that loved him, and he loved them. He had tons of friends. He loved sports. He was a huge Cubs fan. He was a huge Chicago sports fan. And he loved working. He had worked full-time jobs basically since the first time he started working when he was 15.
Oh, wow.
He had great work ethic, and he loved to work. And the reason he loved to work is he loved to be around people.
Yeah.
He just, that's what he did. And, when he passed away, the shock just, it caught everybody off guard. It caught his friends. It just really kind of shook the community in general, because he hit it so well, because he was the one who was always smiling. He was the one who was always laughing. He was the clown. He was the one that was at the parties. He was the one who made everybody else happy. He was the one who was always cheering other people up. He was the one that nobody expected to be the one that take their own life.
Right.
And I think that happens more often than what people realize. There is that saying, check on your strong friends.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
Foster was just one of those handsome, charismatic, lovable, not perfect young men who got caught up in a tough world and was too afraid to speak up about what he was going through until it was too late. And that's really, honestly, Lauren, about the best way I can explain it.
Thank you for sharing that and explaining that to us. And you bring up a really good point that there isn't a look of someone that's struggling. It can be your funny friend. It can be your strong
Absolutely.
friend. It can be, people can be really good at hiding when they're not doing well, or maybe they can even, push people away. It's so different. So what are signs, if any, that people can look for in loved ones to kind of let them know, hey, we kind of need to check on this person more. I don't think they're doing well.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that I learned right away was the fact that it's not your stereotypical television or movie role. It's anybody.
Right.
It's literally anybody. It doesn't matter, if you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter if you're, your race doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, your sex doesn't matter. Whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter if suicide affects everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Foster showed no outward signs to friends and people that he was close to socially, even his best friends that he was with socially, there were signs that we picked up on as family. He's, and some of those signs are very obvious. Some of those signs are a little more hidden or retracted that you kind of have to look for. But obviously, one of the main ones are if you start to isolate somebody who's very social, who's very outgoing, if all of a sudden they start to isolate themselves and they start to stay home more, or they just kind of stay in their room a lot.
Yeah.
Another sign is if their appearance starts to drastically change. If somebody who's very clean cut, who gets a haircut every 3 weeks, who shaves daily, showers a couple times a day, and is just very clean cut, all of a sudden they don't get a haircut, or they quit shaving, or it's hard to get them to shower. Those are major signs that depression and things are going on, and you need to kind of check on them. You know, giving their personal items away, things that are important to them. If they start giving those things away, you know, if they have personal objects, you know, that are important to them, they're like, hey man, you know, why don't you have this? This is my autographed baseball of, you know, that I've had for that. You know, I'd like you to have that. You know, and he gives one thing away to this person, another thing away to another person. You know, that's something to kind of take notice of, because you know, it's very possible that they're not just being generous, but they may have a plan, you know, set to take their own life, and they're not going to be here, so they're looking to give away their things that are most important to them to people that they do care about. You know, and these are all things that may or may not be in play. But they're things that you want to look for. We're not trying to scare anybody. We're certainly not trying to, you know, say that these are all things dead in stone. Our goal is to wake people up and say, you know, these are some things that you need to take into common and take a look at, and just ask the questions. You know, that's the biggest question that people are afraid to ask. Are you okay? Yeah. Are you depressed? Are you suicidal? There is nothing wrong with asking, are you thinking about taking your life? If you know somebody is suicidal, just ask the question. Let them answer you. Because if they are, they're more than likely going to tell you because they don't want to die and they're reaching for help. Let them tell you, and then we can get you the resources that we truly need to get you the help that you want. A lot of times they want to say something. They want somebody to ask them. So ask them, well, are you thinking about taking your life? And if they say yes, then say, let's get you some help. And let's get them the help they need. Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions, especially with your children. Ask them the tough questions. What are they going to do? Get mad at you? I hate to tell you guys this. Parents, your teenage children are mad at you 50% of the time, if not more anyway. Let's keep them safe. Okay? Let's keep them safe. That's our job as parents, is to ask the tough questions. Don't be me. Don't miss them. Don't make the mistakes of being too busy to sit down with your children and ask the hard questions. And that's what I ask of all parents today. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to say that your child is my child. I'm asking you to not be me, to not make the mistakes that I made, to be better than I was as a parent, and to take the time to ask those hard questions, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to your child to be a better parent than I was. And I'm in your corner, and I want you to be a better parent than what I was to your child. That's what I want for you.
You started Foster's Voice 9 days after your son passed, and so much has happened and changed since then. The organization has not only helped the community and touched so many lives, but you've also inspired other suicide prevention and awareness groups. What's it called? The Gray Matters. I know you partnered with them, and last year you guys raised $40,000 at your gala. Now, tell me, what does that money go towards? And tell me about other organizations that you guys have partnered with as well or created.
Sure. During last year's Starry Night Gala with the Gray Matters Collective, which we're having again this year in November.
Great. Put it on your calendars, guys.
Yes, please do. We raised 100% of what was raised goes into the Foster Cares Fund. And that's 100% was going into the I'll say it again, 100% goes into the Foster Cares Fund. The Foster Cares Fund is for free, 100% free therapy and counseling services for those who simply cannot afford to get treatment, to get counseling, to get therapy sessions that they need for help. The Foster Cares Fund was set up through QC Counselor Matt Martinson and his team and his group at QC Counselor. You can contact them at QC Counselor if anybody. You do not have to contact Foster's Voice. You do not have to contact the Gray Matters Collective. You just have to get a hold of QC Counselor, and they will set up a session with you. They will go over all the parameters. It's 100% free counseling for you if you qualify for it. They will set you up. I think the initial is 6 free sessions, which if you go through the 6 and you need more, we can arrange to get you more counseling if you need more counseling. But we pay for it. All of this is in a joint fund. All of the funds from the gala go into a joint fund at Vibrant that is set up with the 3 organizations, so we can all monitor it, keep eye on it, and it all is pulled to pay, which I have to say this. Huge thank you to Matt and his team. They do give us a break on all the counseling fees as well as us paying for it to stretch that money as far as it does go. So it will go as far as we can. And the Starry Gala this year, once again, 100% of those profits will go into the Foster Cares Fund to make sure that we have a team available to get people the mental health care that they need to make sure that they're prepared to handle whatever life throws their way.
Okay, and what was the date of that event again, the gala?
This year's gala is November, I don't remember, 4th?
Okay, November 4th. We will include a link with this video for anyone that would like to buy
It's Saturday,
tickets.
I'm pretty sure it's Saturday night, November 4th.
Okay.
Again, you saw me talking to Jamie about my schedule. I stay only a couple days because tomorrow at 4 o'clock is another meet and greet at Stonebridge Medical Center where I'm talking about where they lost somebody to suicide, and then so it's always, and then the day after that it's another one. So
one day at a time.
One day at a time, please.
Okay.
Because I still go to work full time on top of this.
Right. No, absolutely. We will make sure to get that link
I'm
up
pretty
as well.
sure it's Saturday night, November 4th at the Waterfront Convention Center.
Yes, if you guys can attend, please do attend. Again, 100% of the proceeds go to this fund, which go to people that cannot afford mental health care. So amazing mission, amazing organizations that have come together to help the Quad Cities community, and again, fight the stigma of mental health and raise awareness of suicide. So I have one last question for you, and it may be similar to one you answered before, but I would love to know what one takeaway or a couple takeaways you would like people to have from watching this video today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, first of all, obviously, anybody. I don't care if you are 10 years old or if you are 75 years old. If you are out there and you are struggling and you just don't feel right and you don't feel like you fit in somewhere, let me stop you now and let me explain to you that there are people out here every day that are working for you to get you what you need to make you understand how much you are worth. Okay? You do fit in. You fit in this world. You fit in this community. You fit in our neighborhoods. You fit in with me and Lauren. Because let me tell you something. I have never met anybody that I have not wanted to have a conversation with. And that is a fact. So if you feel like you don't fit in, then you just have to get up and reach out, and we'll talk. We'll get you help if you need help. We'll get you put in situations where you can thrive. We'll get you in communities that you fit into. And the most important thing for people who may be struggling, in my opinion, is to understand that you have a purpose in this life And if you haven't figured it out yet, don't stress about it. It comes when the time is right. It will come to you, but I know you have a purpose. I know you have a reason, because every day your life affects more people than what you truly even understand. And for those of you whose mental health is on the higher scale and you're doing really well, let me tell you, I'm really happy for you, and I'm glad it is. But right now is the time that you need to get involved, and you need to advocate. You need to educate yourself so that you can advocate for those who aren't, because it takes all of us to make our community better, to make our community stronger, to make a real difference. Because like Lauren and I were talking about earlier, we all have mental health, and that mental health is on a sliding scale. And I'm really glad that your mental health is really high right now. Let's keep it there. And the best way to keep it there is to become an advocate and to educate yourself, so that when it starts to slip a little bit, you're prepared, and we can keep it on the highest level that it can be. So become a mental health and suicide awareness advocate and join our team. That's what I'm asking of all of you. Other than that, those are the two biggest takeaways anytime I talk that I hope people realize is their personal worth, and that they can make a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kevin.
No, thank you, Lauren, and thank you for the incredible shake.
Oh my gosh. So good.
And this is proof that life can be awesome.
Life can absolutely be awesome. Again, I feel very lucky to have met you and Jamie today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We are very honored, very, very honored. You guys are incredible people. The community is lucky to have you, and it is absolutely beautiful how you let Foster's legacy live on through your work, through your mission. It's beautiful.
We're just people in the community doing what people always do when they're faced with adversity. It had to mean something. Our son's death had to mean something. It had to have purpose. And if you lose a life, it has to add life, and that's what we're trying to do. If our son had to die, then somebody has to live.
Right. I'm sure you have saved countless lives that you are unaware of. You know.
I hope so.
Oh. I bet.
That's always the prayer. That's always the prayer. I to be honest, I don't look for or want to know. That's just always the prayer. We just keep doing the work, and hopefully that's just what happens. Because it's not about mental health is very secretive, and we're not looking to add numbers. We're just looking to do the work and hope that everybody that's supposed to hear the message hears the message.
Yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Oh, seriously, been so amazing.
It's been a great car ride.
I love it.
See, and your driving was excellent.
You were just nice.